Okay, now it's a time we are going to focus on performing hyperparameters tuning with Azure Machine Learning. And this is basically going to help you to improvise the performance of your model. Now, let's understand hyperparameter tuning first. Hyperparameter tuning is accomplished by training the multiple models using the same algorithm and training data but different hyperparameters values. In simple words, you're going to use same model, same algorithm, but you want to just change the parameters value. And based on that, you want to see that which model is actually performing well. Like you can see right now, I'm giving some kind of a regularization rate, which is 0.01, 0.1, and 1.0. And with three different regularization rate, I'm going to check that in which particular parameter value my model is performing well. Now remember, when you're focusing on hyperparameters tuning, you have to accomplish this by training your multiple models using the same algorithm and same training data, but different hyperparameters values. And that's why you maybe have to run these things multiple times or maybe parallelly with that. Now to understand hyperparameters tuning, first thing is you have to use a different kind of a job. Like in the previous module, you have seen that there is something called command job, which is allowing you to reusably use that job. Same way here, we have something which is called sweep job. You can use a sweep job for hyperparameter tuning. Azure Machine Learning can allow you to tune your hyperparameters by running a sweep job. You can create a training script for hyperparameters tuning the same way you have done earlier. Then you can configure that script to run as a sweep job. And then you can monitor and review the sweep, which is basically the child job associated with this. So sweep is nothing but a child job which is going to be configured with this. For each parameter value which you are going to set up in the hyperparameter tuning, it will be creating separate jobs which are basically counted as a sweep job. As simple like this. Now, you have to define certain more terms associated with this. Remember, understanding hyperparameters tuning requires multiple terms which you need to understand. Up to this point, you understood what is hyperparameter tuning and what is a sweep job. Now it's the time you have to understand the third term, which is known as search space. The search space is basically the set of hyperparameters values which you have tried during hyperparameters tuning. And that is something which is known as search space. The definition of the range of possible values that can be chosen depends on the type of the hyperparameter. Like in the previous slide, I was showing you that 0.01 or 0.1 or 1.0 was the value which I was giving as a hyperparameters. Now, remember, in this also you have options. When you define the search space, you can have discrete hyperparameters or you can have continuous hyperparameters. As it is mentioned, discrete hyperparameters are some hyperparameters which require discrete values. In other words, you must select the value from the particular finite set of possibilities with that. That's what we call discrete hyperparameters. And continuous hyperparameters are basically those hyperparameters which are continuous. In other words, you can use any value along a scale, resulting an infinite number of possibilities which are available inside that. That's why it is continuous. Now, you have to define the search space. To define the search space for hyperparameters tuning, you have to create a dictionary with an appropriate parameter expression for each named hyperparameter associated with that. And that's something which you will be seeing in the next lab when we are going to do that. Also, you have to configure a sampling method with this. What is a sampling method? Well, the specific values which are used in hyperparameters tuning run or a sweep job depend on the type of the sampling method which you are using with that. There are three main sampling methods which are available in Azure Machine Learning. The first one is known as grid sampling. This is basically going to try every possible combination in that. The second one is a random sampling, which is basically going to randomly choose values from the search space which you have given. And in this case, there is one specific method which is called SOBOL. Maybe you heard about this word because it's a very popular one. SOBOL is basically a variation of a random sampling which is used with this. And then when you're doing this thing, it's going to add a seed to random sampling to make the results reproducible. The third one is actually Bayesian sampling, which is choose new values based on the previous results. So it's going to check the previous result, and based on that, it's going to give you the new values association with this. Now, which sampling method you're going to use, it totally depends on you, and based on that, you can configure your search space as well in the sweep job. Remember, search space, and the next term which you have added is a sampling method. And there are three options in the Azure Machine Learning for this. The terms of this modules are very important for understanding purpose. The next one which you have to configure is configuring early termination. I'm sure you remember early termination because we have seen this thing earlier, that we can maybe do this thing based on the max trials or a particular time limit for the particular trial. Now, when you configure a sweep job in the Azure Machine Learning, you can set the maximum number of trials in this as well. A more sophisticated approach may be to stop a sweep job when newer models don't produce a significantly better result, which is a better one. Because maybe you can set a maximum number of trials to 5 or 10, but how do you know that you got a best performing model in that? That's why when the new model doesn't produce a significant better result, it's a better option to choose for this. And to stop a sweep job based on the performance of the model, you can use an early termination policy. Now, when to use an early termination policy, if that is your question, the options and the answers are here. Whether you want to use an early termination policy may depend on search space and the sampling method which you're working with. And that's the reason we understood these two terms first. Also, an early termination policy can be especially beneficial when working with continuous hyperparameters in your search space because it can go with on and on and on. It's continuous, which has infinite possibilities associated with that. So if you do not define early termination policy, it may be going to take hours or sometimes even days to just continue with the process. Let's configure an early termination policy example here. There are two main parameters when you choose to use an early termination policy. The first one is evaluation interval and the second one is delay evaluation. Evaluation interval is going to specify at which interval you want the policy to be evaluated. And delay evaluation specifies when to start evaluating the policy. Now, whenever you're dealing with this thing, new models may continue to perform only slightly better than the previous model. To determine the extent to which models should perform better than the previous trial, again, there are three options to early termination. Now, these are very important terms here. When you're configuring early termination with this, there are three different options which are available for you. First one is known as Bandit Policy. Now, this is basically one popular termination policy which people use. The second one is median stopping policy, and the third one is truncation selection policy. Now, don't worry if these terms are a little confusing for you. I'm going to explain each one of them with example in the coming slides. So let's start with the first one, which is Bandit Policy is actually something where you can use a Bandit policy to stop a trial if the targeted performance metrics underperform the best trial so far by the specified margin. So basically you specify and you try to find out which one is the best trial so far and then what margin you want to specify in this. As you can see in the Python code, I'm specifying my sweep job with the early termination policy, which is Bandit policy. I'm specifying the slack amount is 0.2, delay evaluation is 5, and evaluation interval is 1. So basically for the first 5 evaluation, we are not going to apply the policy and it will go for 5 evaluations. From the 6th evaluation onwards, we are going to focus on the evaluation configuration. Now, as you can see here, for the first 5 evaluation, let's say I got some values which are like this, that I'm getting something like 0.62, 0.65, 0.7. And if I take all those things, it's showing me here that in this example, this code is going to be applied to a Bandit policy with a delay of 5 intervals, and it is evaluating the policy at every interval. And it allows an absolute slack amount of 0.2. Now, when I'm checking this, all the values here, see this here, that the best performing model has an accuracy of 0.9, which is basically this one, the 5th one. And after this, when we have a 0.9, any new model which needs to be performed, it has to be better than 0.9 minus 0.2 because that's the slack amount, which is going to be 0.7. So my line which is going to be here, which is associated with this, is going to be 0.7. Remember, this is something like every model has to perform better than 0.7 and then only it's going to be acceptable. Like suppose in the 6th trial, I got a model which is giving me something which is 0.85 kind of a thing. This is above 0.7, so this is going to be acceptable one. But suppose if the newer model in the sweep job is giving me a score of accuracy which is lower than 0.7, then this policy will terminate the sweep job automatically. And it's giving you the example here, like this is giving you below and lower than 0.7, and then this is going to be doing a termination of this. Second one, which is median stopping policy, is basically allowing you to abandon trials when the target performance metrics is worse than the median of the running average of all trials. This is going to take a median of the running average of all trials. Again, while configuring this policy, I'm saying delay evaluation is 5 and the evaluation interval is 1. Now, in this case, the following example is showing you that the code applies with the median stopping policy with the delay of 5 and the policy with interval is actually 1. Imagine that the primary metrics is the accuracy of this particular model. And then when the accuracy is logged for the 6th trial, the metrics needs to be higher than the median of the accuracy. And that's basically what we are trying to take it here. Now you can see the accuracy which we are getting in first trial is 0.81, second one is also 0.81, 0.82 is the third trial, fourth one is 84, and fifth one is 83. The median of this is basically 82. And then it should be better than the median, so it should be higher than that, which is 0.82. In the sixth trial, if I get 0.84, it's going to be continue with that. But if I get less than 0.82, then this is basically my early termination policy matching with this, and no new models will be trained after this if it is giving me less than 0.82. That's how median stopping policy is doing. The third one, which is truncation selection policy. The third one is a truncation selection policy, in which a truncation selection policy is going to cancel the lowest performing X percentage of the trials at each evaluation interval based on the truncation percentage value which you specify for the X. Now, in order to understand this thing, I'm giving you an example here of the sweep job with the early termination policy, which is a truncation selection policy, and I'm providing evaluation interval is again 1, truncation percentage is 20%, and delay evaluation is 4. So in this case, it's going to be delaying evaluation for the 4 trials, and then it's going to evaluate the policy at every interval, and then it's going to use a truncation percentage of 20% with that. Now just imagine that the primary metrics here is also accuracy of the model. When the accuracy is logged for the 5th trial, the metrics should not be the worst 20% of the trial so far. So if you check here, this is showing you 82, 83, 82, 84. If I take the 20% part of this particular one, the next one should not be the worst than the 20% of that, which means that in this case, 20% translate to 1 trial because we have 4 trials only. In other words, if the 5th trial is not the worst performing model so far, then sweep job will continue. Like in this case, this is 0.83. The worst one is 82. This is not the worst one, so it will continue. But suppose if the 5th one is the worst one, which is going below 82, which is the lowest one, then that is something which is going to be terminating this job. And this is how it's going to be focusing on the X percentage of that. Now, obviously, you can specify the percentage value here, and according to that, you can define your execution policy. You can define here early termination policy with this. With this module is actually coming to an end. There is an exercise in which you are going to run a command job, then you're going to configure a sweep job, and then you're going to submit a sweep job with hyperparameters tuning. This is an important lab to perform. I request you to do that thing. But before I go to that particular module, it's a time for a knowledge check of this module. So let's pause this video. You can guess your answers, and then you can resume when you're ready. Question number 1. You plan to use hyperparameters tuning to find optimal discrete values for a set of hyperparameters. You want to try every possible combination of a set of specific discrete values. What kind of sampling should you use? The answer is you should use grid sampling for this. Next, you're using hyperparameters tuning to train an optimal model based on the targeted metric name AUC. What should you do in your training script? The answer is use mlflow log.metric statement to log the AUC value, and that's which is there. I hope you get the right answer of this particular knowledge check, and with this particular module is coming to an end. Remember, this is day 1, which is coming to an end right now, and this is a whole day which is focusing on machine learning model training. From tomorrow onwards, we're going to start with the modules which are focusing on MLOps. So that is basically going to use not only Azure Machine Learning, but more than this, is also going to use GitHub Actions, and GitHub account is going to be required for that. So make sure you have your own GitHub account before you proceed to the next modules. Thank you. This is Maruti Makwana. I'll see you tomorrow.